Welcome everyone, I'm Annabelle from Lark Industries. We appreciate you joining us today for our What is Senior Sport and Why is it Important? Our presenters will be available at the end of the event to answer any questions live. So please feel free to contribute via your Q&A button. I'll now turn you over to Michelle Herbut. Welcome, Michelle.
Thanks, Annabelle. Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar, where we will be discussing the importance of an exercise intervention specifically designed for seniors, which we like to call senior sport. During the webinar, we'll discuss what is healthy aging, the benefits of active aging, and find out how to support an active aging society. We'll then look into some programs available and what you should consider when looking at exercise equipment. We will then hear from Associate Professor Pazit Levinger from the National Aging Research Institute on some of the studies she's been working on. So, what is healthy aging? Healthy aging can be termed in a number of ways, but essentially there is an understanding that it involves more than just physical or functional health. Healthy or active aging is the process of optimizing opportunities for health, participation and security in order to enhance quality of life as people age. In the World Report on Aging and Health by the World Health Organization, they define healthy aging as the process of developing and maintaining the functional ability that enables well-being in older age, where functional ability comprises the health-related attributes that enable people to be and to do what they have reason to value. So let's talk about the facts. The population worldwide of older people is increasing faster than any other age group, and this is due to three key factors: our falling fertility, the mortality rates, and an increase in life expectancy. For the first time in human history, by 2050, the number of 60-plus-year-olds will reach 2 billion and outnumber children under the age of 14. What are we doing about this major shift in demographics? In Australia in 2014, 15% of the population was 65 years and older, and over the next 2 decades, this will rise to 90%. Staying in Australia, 75% of people aged 65 and over were not sufficiently active. Of those, 77% were female and 74% were male. Unfortunately, physical activity decreases with age. Conversely, sedentary behaviour like sitting, reclining or lying down during waking hours is highest among those older adults. Too much uninterrupted sedentary time, such as watching television, has been linked to chronic disease and mortality. According to the National Health Survey, in 2014 to 2015, 81.8% of men aged 55 to 64 years were classified as overweight or obese, while for women of the same age, this was 68.2%. If the current trend continues, 6.9 million Australians are likely to be obese by 2025. Now let's talk about the good stuff. Being physically active is important to maintaining your abilities and independence as you age. It is also essential to maintain or improve your brain health. Even if you become physically active later in life, you can still reap the health benefits. An important factor to overall good health is regular physical activity. Older people should do some form of physical activity, no matter what their age, weight, health problems, or abilities. It is recommended to do at least 30 minutes a day of moderate intensity aerobic activity, such as brisk walking, on most days of the week. Older people who have stopped physical activity or who are starting a new physical activity should start at a level that is easily manageable and gradually build up the recommended amount, type, and frequency of activity. It is also recommended to break up long periods of sitting as often as possible. Older people should incorporate activities to increase muscle strength, balance, and flexibility at least twice a week. People who continue to enjoy a lifetime of vigorous physical activity should carry on doing so in a manner suited to their capabilities into later life. So how can physical activity assist with preventing cognitive decline? Cognitive decline is common in old age. but physical activity appears to be one of the strongest factors for delaying or preventing cognitive decline. In Australia, 1,400 new cases of dementia are diagnosed each week, with Alzheimer's disease being the most common cause. This is expected to increase to 7,400 new cases per week by 2050. It is reported that about 13% of all cases with Alzheimer's disease are potentially attributable to physical inactivity. An analysis of behavioural surveys from 54 countries revealed that 3.8% of all-cause mortality was associated with sitting for more than 3 hours per day. But there are some emerging evidence that mind-body exercise, such as Tai Chi and dancing, which requires integrated cognitive and motor coordination, might have positive effects on the prevention of cognitive function in older people at the risk of cognitive decline. So what can physical activity do to aid in falls prevention? Every year, large numbers of Australians experience serious consequences as a result of a fall. In 2009 to 2010, the most common cause of death resulting from injury is falls, and in the following year, it was found 70% of hospitalised falls occurred in either the home or an aged care facility. The World Health Organization has stated that about 28 to 35% of over 65-year-olds fall down each year. The older and physically weaker people become, the more likely it is for them to fall down several times a year. Falling down and the resulting injuries nearly always require medical care. According to the National Institute for Health and Welfare in Finland, an investment of €1 in preventative action pays off with €10 in cost savings. Similar results are found from other European countries, including Spain. La Trobe University in Victoria concluded that, for example, $1 spent on community football club returned at least $4.40 on social value to society and local community. It's important to note that exercise programs that include strength and balance components can reduce falls, but exercise that specifically challenges balance is most effective. But not all exercise programs can be applied equally. For example, individualized home-based exercise appears to reduce falls and improve physical performance for people with Parkinson's disease, hip fracture, and dementia, but those recently discharged from hospital may not benefit from an individualized home-based exercise program, and another form of intervention is needed. So what can we do to help our older population and support an active aging society? To support seniors, we need to integrate them into society by providing safe, age-friendly environments, and they need to be seen as a resource and be allowed some responsibilities. Provide flexible, innovative, and collaborative solutions that can benefit all age groups, and provide a platform or create solutions where they have meaningful activities and skills can be shared. We need to encourage older people to do a variety of activities, find out their interests, and discuss options. Let older people know that physical activity includes incidental activities that increase heart rate, such as housework or gardening, but also encourage activities that promote mental health and socializing. Another method to incorporate older people into our society is through participation, specifically focused on social, community, and the workforce. Participation promotes feelings of connectedness, improves mental health and physical health. There is strong evidence of a direct link between social connectedness and mental and physical health outcomes. Methods of participation can include being a carer or volunteering. But as always, collaboration is key, and it is important to involve older adults in the planning, implementation, and evaluation of programs. Here we'll take a look overseas to see what is being done to support active aging. A town in Finland is offering free gym sessions to everyone over the age of 65. The mayor of Kurukka hopes people who take up the offer will be healthier. This initiative is to support those people who want to take care of themselves. Based on cost analysis, the municipality will save money over time because it will need to provide less social care. These machines work on air pressure instead of weights, and the aim is to reduce risk of injury. A system is devised where the attendees get a personalised exercise program. And the results have shown that not only are they increasing their leg muscles and improving their balance and gait, but they are also socializing, which has a positive effect on reducing depression and loneliness. These days, technology is an important factor in how we live, and using technology to support seniors with programs or participation in physical activity should be utilised. Between November 2013 and May 2014, in a research project called an Interactive Sound Arch for Joint and Individual Movement, a digital interactive sound and play arch specifically designed for the outdoor environment was installed at 10 senior care facilities in the Netherlands. The sound arch has games installed that include music, memory, and movement, and participants can be of various ages and abilities. In 2015, an evaluation and multiple goals were set for the project, and one of these was aimed specifically at the relationship between dementia and older people being active together while using the play arch. All 10 locations resulted in unanimously positive feedback. Equipment like this that incorporates exercise, music, and being outdoors can decelerate the dementia process. Music activates essential brain circuitry, which allows people with dementia to open up again. These products can also provide social inclusion by having different age groups play together. But state and federal governments need to play a larger role in supporting our older population. It is not enough to help subsidise and facilitate programs. Infrastructure needs to be a consideration as well. Spain are doing things right. In 2007, a joint initiative between the Catalonian government, the General Secretary for Sport, and the Department of Health created a plan of physical activity, sport and health in the fight against sedentary lifestyles. To support their older population, they provided thousands of specifically designed outdoor exercise equipment for seniors for free to local councils. A trainer is also engaged at each station to train new and returning users on how to use the equipment. The local council applies for the equipment, and if they are successful, only pays for installation. As we term it, the Spanish model, which is the combination of the equipment and a trainer, is used as a community and group-based physical activity program and can improve physical health and offer opportunities for social connection, which provides motivation for continued participation. It's about removing the stereotype that grandparents sit and watch their grandkids play when they come to the park. The training model is about making physical activity programs fun as well as functional, and tailors the content to participants' abilities and facilitates a positive social environment in group programs. So what are some of the local age-friendly environments, programs and initiatives that support active ageing? Integrating seniors into our society means creating age-friendly environments. Ageist stereotypes can affect older people's psychological well-being and physical and cognitive functioning, and negatively affect the social environment. Recent developments in age-friendly environments emphasise the crucial role of the social environments in healthy ageing. The World Health Organization has identified 3 key domains in age-friendly social environments, include social participation, respect and social inclusion, and civic participation and employment. A joint venture between University of Wollongong in New South Wales and Lend-Lease is developing a unique state-of-the-art health and wellbeing precinct at its innovation campus. The precinct forms part of the university's overall health and wellbeing strategy, which aims to address regional and global challenges related to healthy living. The aged care services envisioned for the site would include independent seniors living facilities and advanced research and training into this essential healthcare area, and will improve the quality of lives for residents as they transition through various levels of care. Retirees now expect more from their retirement living experience. The retirement living residents will benefit from the research taking place right on their doorstep. And as the residents' needs change over time, they can move into the on-campus aged care facility and continue to see the same doctor. Social isolation is one of the biggest issues facing older Australians, and residents will have the ability to interact with people of all ages that will visit the precinct daily for classes, healthcare or childcare, in addition to the students living at the university full-time. How about programs that support seniors? The New South Wales Department of Family and Community Services have provided a number of programs for the older population. The Get Healthy Information and Coaching Service is a free telephone-based coaching service which supports them to make sustained healthy lifestyle changes relating to their diets, physical activity, alcohol intake, and weight management via tailored advice and motivation. The Stepping On program, which equips individuals with the knowledge, strength, and confidence to prevent falls, stay active, and remain independent. The program incorporates a group setting plus individualised follow-ups. It covers a range of issues including falls and risk, strength and balance exercises, home hazards, safe footwear, vision and falls, safety in public places, community mobility, coping after a fall, and understanding how to initiate a medication review. Also, partnerships were formed with Football New South Wales, Netball New South Wales, and Gymnastics New South Wales to support older people participating in sports through the Getting Active plan. The social small-sided version of the games are specifically modified for older Australians. Football Federation Australia has teamed up with national partner Active Ageing Australia to promote the availability of their programs. These programs focus on improving participants' physical health, mental well-being, and social connections. Evaluation of group-based programs has shown that the social components are important for older people in joining and continuing to attend physical activity programs. In 2017, Lane Cove Council in Sydney's Lower North Shore was one of the first to pilot a training program targeting the older population. It was to coincide with the local campaign run by council called Move More in March, which promotes activities and programs dedicated to get people of all age groups and abilities out and about and moving. Collaboration between the community services and open space departments at council saw them install a piece of exercise infrastructure that was designed for seniors. A trainer or physiotherapist was on site for an hour a week for 8 weeks to assist and support new and returning users to the equipment. The trainer would assess each new participant on their skill and activity levels, show them how each piece of equipment worked, and then how to increase the difficulty of the exercise to build strength over time. Physiotherapist Sally Castell from Movement Matters said that the benefits of an outdoor piece of infrastructure designed specifically for seniors over indoor equipment or other outdoor equipment that was targeted to a younger age group was accessibility and was more specific to some aspects of fitness for seniors like balance. Council found it so successful, the trainer returned every third week of the month and a second piece of seniors infrastructure was installed at another site. So what do we need to consider when looking at equipment to activate our seniors? Typically, outdoor exercise equipment is based on an average shape and form on specific age groups, for example, teenagers to retirees, and usually come with no or minimal resistance, which is okay for the general public, but for older people, particularly those that are beginners or those that need to mitigate risk, can more be done to assist our ageing population. Pazit will provide some more evidence-based results, but to touch briefly on the topic, let's break it down a little. The example you see here shows a man that looks relatively tall, which means his legs might suit the extension required to turn the pedals. But if the seat is not adjustable, would this accommodate a shorter woman, for example? The same concept can be applied to the women here. What if they cannot reach the handlebars or cannot extend the exercise as the exercise intends? And what if there is no resistance? How can they build up strength over time? Equipment used by older people should be designed for older people. Consider equipment that has been designed in conjunction with allied health professionals like physical therapists and exercise physiologists, and how the exercises assist with everyday activities. As you see here, these upper body exercises help to increase flexibility and strength in the shoulders and back, and will make it easier to reach the top shelf, hang laundry, and put on socks. Targeting the lower body by increasing strength in the legs, core, and flexibility in the knees and ankles will make it easier to walk up and down stairs, walk on uneven surfaces, even sitting down and getting up again. Working on manual dexterity will make it easier to use your phone, button up shirts, hold a cup, open doors, or open jars. There are different types of equipment specifically designed for seniors that are available and would support different situations and abilities. Here is an example of individual pieces of equipment installed in a cluster, where all pieces can be installed close together or can be spread out over different nodes and can be connected by a walking path. These types of installations can also support those who have difficulty walking or are in a wheelchair or require assistance, since there is an area of movement around each piece. They can also be designed to focus on an older age group who are at a higher level of risk for falling. And these exercises can target strengthening and flexibility training for core, lower back, shoulders, arms, wrists, and fingers. The other type of equipment available are the multi-generational units, which combine a large quantity of exercise into an all-in-one unit, which is great for areas with reduced space or in public parks where local governments also want to target a different demographic, like toddlers, since it's also safe for them to play on, which makes it a great idea for an inclusive play space. This equipment is largely targeted to retirees and is heavily focused on building lower body strength and flexibility, but also assists with balance. The exercises can start as a beginner, but with slight changes like different foot placement or by not using your hands for support, it can increase the difficulty, which will help build up strength over time. Partnering your product with a trainer, like the Spanish model, will encourage the older population to have more confidence in using the equipment and continue to return, making it a great investment for local government as well as the user. So, we've looked at the type of equipment, but what about the environments it's installed in? With density increasing in metro areas, aged care developers are designing more vertical facilities and therefore less green spaces available. Why not consider exercise equipment on a balcony or rooftop? Shopping centre developers are great at catering for children when it comes to incidental and destinational play. But what about our older population? Stocklands have a great initiative partnering with the Heart Foundation to do walking tours. But how about providing infrastructure within the shopping precinct and maybe even partnering with a local age facility to combine an exercise and shopping experience? When it comes to installing a piece of equipment, it is also important to take note of the location of your installation. Take this All Abilities Park in southern New South Wales. You can see the seniors equipment highlighted in the red circle. But other design considerations that have been taken into account include seating, shade, amenities, drinking station, parking, and easy access pathways. Other great attributes would also be easy access for social gathering, as well as for public transport and close proximity to local aged care facilities. Now we'll hear from Associate Professor Pazit Levinger from the National Ageing Research Institute, who will tell us more about the studies she's been conducting and some preliminary findings. Hello, Pazit.
Hi, Michelle, and hi, everyone. Great to be here. I'm very pleased to share with you some of our research work. Let me just quickly get to the presentation. Wonderful. All right. So we've been working in that space for quite some time, so I'm very pleased that we're able to share some of research we've been doing in that area in Victoria. Just to declare that we have no conflict of interest. The presentation will have a few different aspects. I will start with a bit about research, past research, what we're doing and where we're heading. We will discuss some strategies for promotion engagement, and we will also have a bit of a reflection around COVID-19 and how it is impacting current climate. So it's really important to understand that to create active environment, it's such an important investment in infrastructures to provide opportunities for all the people, for general community, to be physically active and socially connected at a public setting with relatively or minimum cost from the end users, or with a bit of investment from local government. It's also a great way to promote health and healthy living behavior, increasing park visitation and park-based physical activity. So it's really quite an emerging area that takes quite momentum in recent years. But it's quite important to understand that we know that exercising outdoors is very important to our mental and physical health. Often the equipment that is available out there is not necessarily suitable for all age group or for all demographics. So it's important to understand what is suitable, what is not suitable, what is safe for all the population. There's also been limited research, even though in recent years there's a bit more momentum around that space. And I want to give you a bit of example from recent study from New South Wales that looked at 7 sites in New South Wales after installation of various pieces of equipment. And they found from all people that visited the site, only 3.8% actually utilized the equipment, and very, very small fraction of them were actually older people. So this just shows you that even though you install equipment, it doesn't mean that people are going to go and use it. So there are other ways that we need to be involved in that space. So we've been using the Senior Exercise Park for several years now. When we initiated the study a few years ago, what really attracted us to that equipment was the aspect of being very, very functional. It's encouraged movement and mobility, has a lot aspect of strength, but a functional strength that required for daily functioning for older people, heavily focused on balance and coordination. So we then, I'm just going to show you quickly how we utilize the equipment in terms of the Access program. A lot of it Michelle has already shown you a bit. So the way when we designed the Access program, we looked at the overall design of the equipment, and then we were able to have a bit of a comprehensive exercise that target upper body, lower body, and that just provide great opportunities to have various exercises. So we ran a randomized trial a few years ago, and we wanted to see if it's safe and feasible to use the equipment. So we had all the people that underway about 18 weeks of exercise program using the senior exercise park. We had a morning tea as part of socialization, and we really found that utilizing the equipment did improve physical function. Also, it was quite enjoyable and quite positive perceived benefits about using it for all the people. So that was quite useful in terms of providing us preliminary results to pursue a bit further and expanding the work that we've done. All of these have been published. So that led us to the current project that we're doing in the community. We're just about to finish it this year, which aim to create again an innovative way in a public area. And I will quickly discuss the settings so you're able to understand where it's located. So the main aim of the Enjoy project is to implement and evaluate the effect of sustained engagement in physical activity on various health outcomes, from physical to social to mental. But the long-term overview umbrella was to not just to design and promote, but also allow local government and other community stakeholders to be able to utilize it beyond their project. We had two councils, Wyndham and City Councils, as well as an aged care organization, All Colonists Association of Victoria. The way we structured the research or the clinical aspect of the study, we had about 3 months initially structured as physical activity program and social activity program, where we had trainers or qualified staff to run the program, and then we followed them up for 6 months, allow them to be able to utilize it independently if they wish to do so, and we had various time points to assess progress. The location, so there were 2 public sites available for everyone to use it, close to a community center, in an area that we discussed beforehand with the local government to make sure it has all what we needed to make it age friendly and safe. And the aged care is slightly unique setting and also slightly unique structure for the equipment. I will show you in a minute a bit more pictures. So it's a smaller site, so we had to be quite creative in the design, a smaller design of the equipment. There were a few modifications that we worked closely with the equipment company to make sure that whatever adjustment we've made, it allow wide usage, so people that have various mobility limitations are still able to use it safely. So this is just to show you that, so the exercise site is located very, very close, as you can see, to the nursing home. It is fenced and there is gate because there are clients with dementia, so just to make sure that they control access. It has cover, it has software, it has all what we need to make it safe. And then in addition to running the study, we're working with local government or with our organization to do other aspects to help with promotion and engagement. So there are a few strategies we implemented in the process. First of all, it was very important that whoever we partner with will have positive aging strategy or equivalent. So we have the same mission and aim to improve older people. There was a signed agreement with clear expectation, and then there was some structures with our work. So in various stages of the project, there were different divisions that we worked closely with from the local government. There was clear risk management that we put in place to dissipate some of the concern that a community might have or the local government might have, and from the environment point of view, from other aspects of education for clients. So it was quite important to work together in a co-design to make sure we're on the same page. And then there were promotion marketing, and every council took very, different strategy to promote it. If it's through the comms team, social media, newsletter, there was an official launch at each site. The mayor attended, and there were some video and resources online. So quite interesting way to create engagement. Was also important for sustainability point of view that we work closely with the local government and relevant health providers to make sure, again, it's sustainable. So for that, it was very important to upskill allied health professionals and community members. So we ran some training, we provided that support in guidance around safe prescriptions, how to do it, risk management, and things to consider. And that was perceived quite well. was very important for us also to get older people, because what we do is for the community, it's for them. So we really need to hear their voice and to hear their feedback. So we worked closely with our leaders from the community. So we had senior champions that supported us in the event and help us with other means of engagement. There was also some resources that we created or helped to create, if it's through video that are available online, instructional signage, translation of material to be available for the community, and so on. So we are now in a state of finalizing the Enjoy project, and we are going to look into the dementia space, so working with all the people that have cognitive declines. We are going to start, hopefully, COVID-19 is settling, and we hope to start a randomized trial just to test that equipment in the exercise program in people with dementia and see if we can optimize it for that patient group. We hope to have some results in 2 years. And I also want to take that time to have a bit of reflection about COVID-19. It has been very challenging for everyone, but I think with the current pandemic, it's probably was a good wake-up call for us to understand and recognize how important sport, recreation, and nature and green and outdoor. And it is so important to create inclusive spaces so everyone can use it. I'm mindful that a lot of state government now have some funding opportunities for recreation and sport, but we need to be, out there to make sure that whatever is built and created is also suitable for our aging population, because they are vulnerable populations. So very important to, when you design, to make sure it is inclusive and equitable, those that are, especially for the age demographic. We just recently published a guidance. We hope that to provide some information for local government and stakeholders what to consider when you design outdoor space, keeping in mind that if you design something that's age-friendly, that everyone else is likely to use it. So it's available online, and you will be given a link for that paper if you wish to look at that into more details. So for me, the take-home messages are, we know that outdoor exercise equipment, they have the potential to promote physical activity, but we have to consider strategies to increase usage, because if we install exercise, it doesn't mean that it's being utilized. So we have to think beyond the square and make sure that we engage with the community, we do promotion and whatever is required. And it is so important we work collaboratively, because us coming as expert in the field, it was very important to facilitate that process from council point of view, bringing the research aspect and the evidence. So we really have to be working together in that space. And finally, I just want to say thank you for our funding bodies that have been supporting us for the past few years. And if you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch. And I'm going to hand back to Michelle.
Thank you, Pazit. In conclusion, it is clear to see that we are an ageing population and that the older population are a forgotten demographic, and we need to provide ongoing support. Exercise has many benefits to all age groups, but more importantly to seniors, so that they can make the most of their later years in life. We should consider how we can assist the elderly in their pursuit of exercise, whether it is in a public park, linking with a developer in a new community or aged facility, or even partnering with retail outlets. We've seen how outdoor exercise can be multi-generational, but also the health and social benefits of spending time outdoors. But most of all, the mental well-being of the older population, by having them participating in society within the community and connecting with different age groups. Having a strong mind will assist you with the need to take care of yourself so you can have a strong, healthy, long life. Thanks again for tuning in. Annabelle, shall we have a look at some questions?
Michelle and Pazit, yes, I see we do have some questions here, and we might hand the first one over to you, Pazit, if you'd like to take that.
So there are a few questions, and I'll try to address a few of them. There's some really good comments here. I'm sorry, Samantha, I just saw your comment now. If I was too fast, I'm so sorry. Hope you will be able to have access for that after. So just to start, in terms of the there was a question from Riley about people that are coming from disadvantaged communities or with poor socioeconomic background. I think this is a very good comment because we know from research that those that have little means are less physically active and have less access to those type of equipment on area. So it is so crucial that when we design this type of equipment, it should be available in public space, in public area, and we need to consider those areas that are less fortunate in that space or have less resources. And just to comment with regard to the project, so with the study we did, we had 3 different sites. We had from CAL background, so various multicultural background, and we had various languages. Our to the current demographic in Australia, about 30 to 40% of our samples actually were coming from various cult backgrounds. So there was a good representative from the community. So that addressed that comment. With regard to the dementia, the comment that from Timothy, there's various ways where physical activity contribute to reduce the risk of dementia from lifestyle aspect, from the sense of wellness, but also we know that when you engage in physical activity, it's actually increased blood flow to the brain and likely to maintain good adequate of cell growth. So that's one theory that related to physical activity. Are there any other questions that's specific that I can address, or Michelle, you want to address some other?
I will have a look. There's a couple kind of from Rayleigh and Alan and Shankar who all talk about getting these installed within community or public spaces. Really, you just need to talk with your local council. The more that they hear that you want these types of equipment in parks that are accessible, then the more they'll be directing their funding towards that. Obviously, they only have a certain amount of funding every year for certain projects. A lot of that is related to upgrading or repairing or children's playgrounds, etc. Fitness is very important, and the more you talk to your local council about that, the better. But also we need to talk to state and federal governments, I think. In Spain, you know, they were so proactive in getting large numbers of infrastructure to provide to local communities. And I think as we are aging, you know, we really need to focus on that and getting some in the ground. Dan has also made a couple of different comments about integration of age groups and exercises to be conjoined. I think that is important. I think when it comes to seniors, it's very specific and quite different to you know, how other people train or get active. So I think depending on how big the park or the space is, you know, having a small number of components that work for different age groups might not be as beneficial as having one whole park that can assist with a certain demographic. Pazit, do you agree or?
I see all these comments are wonderful because they create some discussion and some dialogue. So few points to quickly just address. So in terms of where to start, or get in touch with the positive aging team within your council, or get in touch with the open space or landscape team to see if there's any site that is going to be upgraded. So normally council will have a timeline for project that are upcoming. So get into the conversation. I'm more than happy to help to provide the research evidence. I've been doing that very bit with councils with different area in Australia, so that's perfectly fine. In terms of how receptive governments are, so it has been very difficult when we started the study a few years ago, but it's getting much better because the evidence we produce is helpful. So a lot of the time there's a lack of knowledge or understanding what is required and misconception around what is suitable for all the people and what not. So the guidance that we just published is probably a good starting point to just read this and see, you know, what to consider. Hopefully that will help a little bit. And then with regard to the intergenerational aspect, this is wonderful comment, Dan. I agree with you. With both of our local government, Wyndham and Whittlesea, we actually asked them to have the site in the access park installed near to a playground to create that intergeneration activities. There's some challenges around this because kids like to, go to other equipments, but it's all manageable. If we're working with community awareness and engagement to make sure, okay, this space is for seniors, kids can use it, but if there's designated time area, all the people should get a priority. So it's all manageable and passable. I think it's just a matter of having that conversation in the council, taking a stand of, okay, I'm going to invest into that space, into that area, and that's what actions we have in place. So, great comments and great questions.
I think Dan has also asked about impacting attenuating surfaces requirements. Some of the seniors products that you've seen here are typically installed to Australian playground standards. So that's why also toddlers can play on it. There are no falling spaces. So it means it's very safe for a lot of different demographics.
Yeah, so we encourage, actually, it's not like we encourage all our collaborators with this project in the future. One of the requirements we ask is to have a soft wall or something equivalent to soft wall, because that helps in terms of reducing slippery surface, but also good in terms of attenuation. So this is what we recommend for local government. In terms of the question that Tim is asking around how to get them started, this is the 1 million questions, because, motivation and engagement with all the people is quite difficult. But I think it's very important that if there are messages we are providing, that the messages are positive. And where to start is reaching those communities, all the people, through providing those opportunities. And one way to do that is when you have senior champions, when you have all the people that are physically active, they are great ambassadors, because they're the similar age and all the people can relate to them. So a lot of things that are important for engagement, probably good to discussion, not in this form, because there's very bit of research around that. But I hope that at least I provided some information that is useful.
I think maybe that is all of the questions. If there are any we've missed out, we'll take a look through and send them through with the web link, will we, Annabelle? Should I leave it to you to close up?
Yeah, thanks Michelle and Pazit for that. Yes, any questions not answered, we will respond directly via email. There'll also be an email coming out shortly, which has, there's a survey at the end of this. If you could complete it, that'd be great. But also that'll be in the email, a copy of the recording and Michelle and Pazit's contact details. So that's it for today, and thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.